What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dr. John C. Turner, aka the Professor JT, and I am here live with this amazing masterclass session. So, you want to become a doctor. Now, we really have to, one, thank God for this opportunity because this is something that I see a lot of people say they want to do, but how exactly do you do it? So I'm going to give you about an hour, about a solid hour about giving you advice that I feel like if you want to go into a doctorate degree, this is your time to do it. Now, you got to bear with me. I'm just learning all these great props and all these great things that are happening, but hey, roll with me tonight and we're going to show you some great stuff. So we are live on LinkedIn, we are live on YouTube, and it is going to be fun. So let's go ahead and get it started. Now, how did all this start? Okay. So we had an opportunity that I'm looking at the world and saying, you know what? I can do this doctor thing. I think I can do this. And after I got done, I said, I want some other people to do this doctor thing. So I started bringing on individuals. I started bringing on people who were uh, interested in becoming doctors. But I felt like after I got my doctorate, and this is the best way to do it, you got to go back and pull somebody else up with you. So that's what I did. I went and pulled somebody else up with me. And so let me go ahead and show my screen because I want to show you how all this craziness started. All right. So it started with one post that I had. And I just said, so you want to become a doctor? And let me share some things no one is telling you about becoming a doctor. And I listed about 7, 8, 9 different things. And this thing went bananas. This is the definition of going viral on LinkedIn. 7,000 impressions, 300,000 impressions, 7,000 interactions. I mean, the comments went crazy. Everybody jumped on this thing. And I said, you know what? We got to talk about this. We really have to talk about what in the world is this doctorate thing and why were so many people into seeing what this doctorate thing was about. And so I wanted to make sure that individuals could see this is possible. Now, the thing is that I want people to realize is that you have to know deep down that you could do this because it's not easy. This is not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to go through. And there's several different routes to go through it. So what I'm going to do is share my story a little bit, and then I'm going to go into your pre-doctorate program, what that looks like, your in-doctorate program, and your completion of your doctorate. Okay. We're going to look at all these different types of things so you can have a good type of read on what you should do when you're looking at your doctorate. All right. So let me start with who I am. Let me start with my story. All right. So my doctor story started with coming into a place where I was working in a community college. And I had been in education. I got my master's in student affairs, higher education from Indiana State University. Got my bachelor's in electronics technology from Indiana University. But Indiana State University, excuse me. But I knew I wanted a doctorate degree from IU. I knew I wanted it. I wanted my doctorate degree to be from Indiana University. So I had some choices. I said, do I go to, I don't know, a for-profit school, a Capella, a Walden? Where do I go? What do I do? Do I stay at home where there's an Indiana University right in my backyard in the city of Indianapolis? Is that what I did? Or do I go down to Bloomington, the mothership, home of Kappa Alpha Psi? Yo, shout out to all my brothers, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And so that was my start. Well, lo and behold, working at Ivy Tech Community College in Indianapolis, Indiana, I had the distinct pleasure of being able to have the Urban Education Studies program chair actually come and say, we are going to have this program for you. We're going to have this program for these individuals who are at this institution. And lo and behold, by the grace of God, Ivy Tech Community College said, we'll pay for it. I was blown away, absolutely blown away. So after even looking at other programs, where in the world can you go pretty much for free? Which for me, living in Indianapolis, born and raised in Indianapolis, and now I can get my doctorate degree in the city of Indianapolis. But wait, there's more. On top of that, I knew exactly from day one what I wanted to research. I had this incredible opportunity to help co-create this course. It was called IVYT 101, and then we switched it to 111 down the line, where we took an affinity section of African-American males, put them together in a first-year course. And I said, I want to go back and interview some of these males. I want to see how their life was before they did the class, while they were in the class, and now how their life is after they completed the class. I knew what I wanted to do from day one when I walked in there. Still blown away by the fact that I had the opportunity to be able to do that type of work. So exciting, such a blessing. And so I went ahead, came up, had the opportunity to do this great work, and was able to walk in fall of 2015 with a doctorate program that was right down the street from me, that was going to be paid for, and that I knew exactly what I was going to write from day one for a PhD program. Nothing but the glory of God. It was not easy. Now, you are not walking down the street, if you're anything like me, born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, going down 38th Street, knowing all the corners of where everything bad can go down, talking about you want to do qualitative research with this type of methodology and this type of literature and all these different, you just don't know that. And so that's what made it very hard for me when I went into my first qualitative studies class and almost failed. And once you get into doctorate program, failing is pretty much a C. Almost failed that course because I didn't know nothing they were talking about language-wise. Very, very key. We'll get back to that in a minute. So after getting done the coursework, the blessing part of knowing what I wanted to do going in day one was, since I knew what I wanted to do, I was able to already start researching while I was working towards my degree. So I was already putting together my literature review towards my dissertation once I started my doctorate degree, which was awesome. And so that shut down on time. That cut down on a lot of time for me. So cutting down on a lot of time meant I had the opportunity to be able to go right into dissertation. And that's what was great. That's what was really great. And so now I had the distinct opportunity to put my dissertation together like that. Because as soon as I got done with my qualitative exams, had my IRB already done, and 3 months later, I was able to go into my dissertation proposal. And then a whole year or so later, I was able to defend my dissertation. So went from fall of 2015 starting to fall of 2020 complete. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. God be the glory. That's how it should be. That is exactly how it should be. Now, here's some times where it gets tricky. A lot of people don't know this. They just don't know it. And so when they don't know it, they go in and they get stuck. So that's why I want to start to go into how can we make sure you go in with the right mindset before you even get your doctorate degree started. Now, mind you, there are tons, and I mean tons and tons of doctorate degrees, okay? And so you have to realize if you're going into doctorate degrees, you have to be prepared to know from day one what type of doctorate degree you want to go into. Now, like I said, I did a PhD. So you do a PhD, you do an EDD. What else can you do? I could have went to law school. Could have studied policy, could have looked at that. Even thought about going to the doctorate in divinity. I've thought about that. But you have to look at not just how you start, but what's your end game. What do you want to do end game wise? That's very, very important. Okay. And so once you start to look at the end game too, now it's going to make your selection a lot easier of how you want to get your dissertation done. Or do you want to go another route and do a project? Or do you want to do what do you call it, a paper at the end? You might want to do some type of research paper at the end of your program. So all of that leads into what type of program, once again, you're going into, and how long do you want to be in the program? So if you know, hey, I'm just administrator in education, I just want to do 35 years. Then a lot of times the EDD might be your route. Now, it might be tough, might be really tough to do that route, but I want you to know that route is going to help you cut down on your time, because the time is really, really, really going to mess with you if you get in there and you're not on track the way you want to be on track. Okay. So you want to make sure I know exactly what program I'm going to go into. I'm going to give you some more tips as we go through this as well. All right. And so once you figure out your program, it's getting together your admissions application and your admission letters. Now, this can be tricky because depending on the programs, depending on what type of letters you're going to write. Okay. So the type of program I was in, urban education studies, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a lot of diversity. So I had to have a strong diversity statement. Plus, I had to have individuals that knew my work, working in those diverse type fields. A lot of people don't realize that. You have to have that knowledge of what type of field you're going into, because that is going to make sure you're not frustrated when you get in your doctorate program. Okay. All right. And so then it's going to these people once again, so they can write letters for you, so they know the work that you do, so these letters can be solid. Now, mind you, and I want to say this especially to my people of color, we need you in these programs. They need people of color in doctorate programs. And guess what? A lot of times when you put your name in that hat and you come with solid letters, it's going to be a strong chance they're going to need to select you, because that's going to make their program look good. So don't ever feel like that you're a person like, I'm going to go for a doctorate degree, but I just don't know if they're going to select you. Trust and believe, they need you in that program. So please apply. We need you to apply. All right. So now you're looking at your possible interviews as well. You're going to have to interview. So you got to be able to speak well. So going into that interview is 3 things I want you to know. You just got to be strong with that interview. You got to go into, this is why I want to be in this program. This also goes in your statement as well, your personal statement. This is why I want to be in this program. This is what I can bring to your program that I see you're already doing. And then finally, this is what I want to do after the program. If you can knock those out, then you definitely need to be in that program. That's the thing. People just want to go and be called doctor. Let me tell you something. It is more to get a doctorate degree than just become doctor. Okay. It's a lot of work. And even when you get out, not everybody's going to call you doctor. Okay. I was John before the doctorate degree, and I'm still John now. Okay. If somebody doesn't call me Dr. John, I'm not tripping. But I know some people, they say, oh, you earned that. You went through so much to get that. Yeah, I did. But nobody's going to take it from me if they don't call me doctor. Okay. You have to go with more of a mindset that you want a doctorate degree than just the fact you want to be called doctor. All right. What else can I make sure I'm looking at? Big thing. Who is paying for this thing? Who is paying for your doctorate? Listen here. There is a lot of good money out there. A lot of good money. Whether if you're getting a fellowship, whether if you're getting a grant, assistantship, or just like in my case, you had somebody that's paying for your doctorate degree. There's some really, really good funding there. Really, really, really good funding there. And I want you to go for that funding. Okay. So make sure that you really do your due diligence. Don't rush into a doctorate program. Do not rush into a doctorate program because you want to get in there and there's some money there. But even when you get into the doctorate program, realize that there's more money that you can get while you're in the doctorate program. So look for those ways to get your doctorate degree paid for. All right. So another area, are you going to work full-time or are you going to be a full-time student? Sometimes that depends on how much money you get. Now, you have to realize this. There are some fellowships, there's some assistantships that will not allow you to work full time. They will not allow you to do it. You have to take their money. You have to be full-time student. It's tough, but that's how it is. Now, you might be able to work part-time, but that's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you got family, if you have all these different things you need to take care of, you have a home, then make sure you find a program for you. Should you look at these online programs? Should you look at for-profit programs? Another thing you want to look at too is looking what type of research level program you want to go into. A lot of people don't realize this. There are different types of research levels when you go into programs. You go to Indiana University, Bloomington, that is a very high research institution. You have to mind this. There's only about 225 very high research institutions in the nation. Then you go to your high level research institutions. Then there's other institutions that are there as well, your professional institutions. I want to say shout out always to all of my great commenters as well. I appreciate y'all tuning in. All my Phi Nu Pi out there, my Kappa Alpha Psi brothers, and my sister Danielle Wright. We go way back. I appreciate y'all so much. So now we're looking at all your pre-doctorate stuff. You got all your pre-doctorate stuff together. You know this is the program I want to go into. I got my letters together. I know exactly what I want to do program-wise, but what is your ultimate goal? What's the big goal? Why do you want to get a doctorate degree in the first place? Because I'm telling you, when you get a doctorate degree, you have to realize, what am I doing this for? What is the big picture? Because there's only 2% of doctors in the whole entire world. And the numbers are even smaller when it comes to doctors of color, especially Black doctors. So when you get that doctorate degree, you are sitting in the echelon of greatness, or how I would say, the echelon of achievement. And you want to not only be able to say, this is what I'm doing with my doctorate degree, but this is how I'm giving back. You want to be able to give back. You want to be able to pull somebody else up with you. Because I'm telling you right now, majority of the people that see you once you get your doctorate degree have probably never seen an academic doctor before. Now, you might have seen a medical doctor, but whether if you're looking at pharmacy, whether if you're looking at divinity, whether if you're looking at PhD, EDD, all those, a lot of times they've never seen you before. I want people to see you. And if it's in your mind, I'm going to get a doctorate degree, trust and believe it's because God wants somebody to see you as a doctor. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. So as we want to continue to go on, we want to make sure you know there's so many different areas you can go into once you get that doctorate degree. You just don't have to necessarily go into being a professor. Shout out to my guy, Dr. Ramon Goins. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I'll show you what he's talking about over here. You have to know more of us need to get into that doctorate degree. And he is right. He's definitely right. We want more of us in those doctorate degrees. And you could do it. You could definitely do it. All right. So now let's go into our next part. Let's go into those in doctorate program tips. So you got into the program. You know what you're in the program for. You know what you're doing. You know what you are set out to do. Okay. And so let me go back to how I even started with my own story. Know what you want to do going in. This is going to cut your program down so much. People are going to be shocked, like, man, how'd you get out so quick? Because you knew what you wanted to do going in. Now, you might not know everything to the T, but you have to know there is a gap in research somewhere that you want to go into research. Plus, you want to know the program that you're in, there's faculty that is there that is going to help you get that research done. That right there is one of the most frustrating things, where you have an individual going to a doctorate program and there's nobody in that whole program that wants to help them do the research that they want to do. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating, but it happens more than what people think. So I want you to make sure you know you're going in with at least some kind of idea what you want to do. Now, something else I want to make sure I put out there. You're not looking to save the world right now. You're just looking to get your doctorate degree. Something that could be really big that can help you. If you can go into a program under the tutelage of somebody who's already doing some type of research and you can add your little niche to it, That's how you get a dissertation done. That's how you get a project done. I'm not trying to do anything super grand scale, which some people have a notion of it. You might not be trying to create your own theory. You might not be trying to make your own different types of dissertation research or anything like that. I just want to do something that's significant to this world and get out of here. I can save the world when I get done. That's something I want people to keep in mind. You can save the whole world once you get your doctorate, but just do something that's practical, knowledgeable, that you have enough time to take time and sense to get it done and get out. Get your doctorate degree and get out. That's it. Because I'm telling you right now, there are people sitting here, what you would call ABD, all but dissertation, they're doctoral candidates, whatever you want to call them, and that's why they're stuck, because they can't get out what they want to do because they're so stuck on making it so grand and so great. And so you have to reshape that thing, and that's okay, because that's what your faculty is there for. They're going to help you shape that thing, but you got to listen to them. You got to listen to your faculty because they're there to help you, not there to hurt you. I mean, I understand. Look, we can go into the struggles of individuals who, oh, I got to change my chair, or I got to change my whole program. It happens sometimes, but those are the little nuances that you want to know going in. So when you're in, you're not so frustrated that you just say, I just quit. I can't do this anymore. I'm just stuck. And I'm telling you, there's people that are out here that can help you get unstuck. Don't feel like you're in this thing alone. But we want to make sure that you know going in that you have an idea what you want to do. So once you get done with your coursework, that you're able to start to flow and do what you call your qualitative exams or your comps. A lot of times those are in your programs. A lot of people don't know it's a part of your program. Not in every program, but majority of your programs, you're going to have to do your comps or qualitative exams. And what are those? That basically is showing, can you even write? If you can't defend a comp or qualitative exam, you're not going to allow you to start a dissertation. You have to be able to break down research, put it in your own words, and defend what you're seeing. That's the comps. That's the qualitative exams that get you ready, that get you right for that dissertation work. Okay, so once you look at that dissertation work, then you move and you flow into doing your first 3 chapters, breaking it down. And I got my dissertation, I'm going to bring it up here in a little bit, but you want to be able to say, now they see I can write, now you want to start to write. You want to start to do that dissertation, okay? Let me go back to the coursework because I don't want people to get so mixed up in this. Something I learned while I was in my program, I was presenting at a University of Illinois. And I remember a gentleman that was there and he was speaking. He said, coursework is easy, dissertation is hard. There are a lot of 4.0, 3.7s. There are a lot of people with phenomenal summa cum laude GPAs that are not finishing their doctorate degrees because that coursework gets you ready to do that final project, that dissertation work. It gets you ready for that. And so, yes, you might get excited because your transcript looks incredible. You racking in all these A's and all kind of different stuff like that. But let me tell you, there's not a lot of doctors that's out here throwing around their GPA when they get done. They're throwing around that they got done with their doctorate. And some of them probably didn't get done with the rest GPA that you would think. So that's something to keep in mind. You should be able to knock out that coursework, but we want you to be able to get finished. That's the biggest thing. All right. So let me go into a couple other things while you're in the doctorate program that's really, really important. Okay. So you have your qualitative, quantitative. I'm just going to break that down. Qualitative is usually, can you tell a good story? Quantitative, can you take the data, the numbers? Either way, you're going to use one of those and you're going to put it together, make your doctorate. You're going to do that. Okay. Now, it's all the different theoretical frameworks that come in there, your methodologies, all those different types of things. The theoretical framework that I used was William Cross's Black Identity Development. There's a theory. And let me break this down to you as simple as possible. You're either going to do qualitative, quantitative for the most part. You're going to pick a theory. You're going to pick a methodology, how you're going to do it. Mine was qualitative, phenomenologically. You know, this is what you're going to do. There's all kind of different ones. Yes, they're big words, SAT words. I know I didn't pass it. I could barely say the stuff even now. I'm telling you. But what I'm telling you is you have to start to know these different types of words. You have to start to know the APA manual. You have to be able to write well because that's how you're going to get out of here. Now, I'll be honest with you too. You might have to get somebody to read over your papers. You might have to get over your pride that you just can't write. I couldn't write. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the best writer. I could speak my behind off. I could do that all day. But writing was my thing. So if you have to get somebody to look over your paper, it's okay. We all had to do it. There's probably not a doctor out there that didn't have somebody looking at their stuff. Okay. And now this is different at every level, whether if you're at law school, whether if you're getting, that PharmD, whether you're medical, you're going to have to write something. You're going to have to write it well. If not, you're not going to be able to defend anything. You're not going to be able to get out. Now, looking at all this writing and different things is one thing, but you got to be able to perform as well. You got to be able to do your assistantship, work your job, whichever it is. You got to be able to do those types of things to make sure that you are getting funded still and you are handling your business. Because you're not going to fund it, you're not going to be able to finish your program. Okay. So we want to make sure those things continue and make sure you continue to apply for funding as you're there. There are different types of levels of scholarships and funding as you go. You might have got some funding for your coursework, but you might need some more funding to finish your dissertation or your project. And that funding is available. Look at certain groups. There's great nonprofits. There's great educational groups out here. AERA, American Educational Research Association. They're huge. I love AERA. Been to the conferences. They have great doctoral funding available for individuals. Look for those certain types of things. Go to your school's website and see what funding opportunities they have for you as a doctorate student, because it is hard to find doctorate money. We don't want you pulling out a ton of loans, but I'm letting you know there's some money out there. There definitely is. Also look for opportunities to get paid to go to conferences from your school. I was blessed with the incredible opportunity to go to Italy, fully paid for. Now, a Black man going to Italy, trust and believe, it tripped me out too. I couldn't believe it. But I got a grant from the organization that paid for my trip, Society of Educators in Education. And then Indiana University gave me some money to go overseas to Italy too. Full week, paid for, everything was paid for. It was unbelievable. Only time I ever been overseas. So I'm telling you, there's funding opportunities out there, but just make sure you look for them, especially if you're people of color. They really want us to get them sometimes, but we do not take the time to go get them. Look at the doctoral network. Look at that, because they're doing some great things for doctors of color, people of color. It's some incredible opportunities that I don't want you to miss, but I want you to be ready for. All right. And if you have any questions, go ahead and you can pop them over in the comments. I should be able to catch them. I would love to answer some. So I'm going to go into this final piece, which is completing the doctorate degree. All right. Now, like I said, there are a lot of people that are stuck in this rut. They're stuck. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. They get frustrated and they just put it down. God bless the people that come back and do it, but not everybody does it. We have to look at the statistics. 50% of individuals finish, and that means the other half do not. I started in a cohort with, 10 people. 5 of us got done. 5 of us did not. That's just where we're at. And not saying these individuals aren't still working, but it makes you want to go back. That's a whole dissertation in itself. Why did y'all get done and y'all did not? But we want to be able to help you get past those kind of things that we see normally, especially as doctors that have hung people up. As we talked about the qualifying exams already, we talked about those things, putting your final paper together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can pull mine up here. We could take a look at my dissertation. Now, I'll be flat out honest with you. I want you to start to ask individuals, what did they do their dissertation on? Because there's a lot of doctors out here that you're kind of like, what did you end up doing your dissertation on? And sometimes they can't tell you, or it's been so long, they get frustrated about it. All right. And so this is my work. I'm blessed to be able to do this great work. Let me make sure I got everything squared away here so y'all can kind of see it a little better. All right. That didn't help, did it? All right, that's a little better. Here we go, because I want to be able to scroll down. So this is my dissertation work right here, Indiana University in Indianapolis. Okay. And so as we're kind of going through this particular work here, we want to bring able to pull up really, I could get to it. You're going to have to put that abstract together. That's got to be solid. You want individuals to be able to see your abstract and know exactly what you're doing, know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. You should be able to get a good mix of what your dissertation is going to be just off that abstract. Okay. That's going to have to be key. That's going to be really, really key. All right. All right. So when you get into your first 3 chapters, that is going to have to be something you have to realize. It's going to take time to get everything together. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And everything has to be shown to a T so that your committee will sign off on that and know exactly what you're talking about when you do your dissertation. All right. That's a key thing. All right. So a lot of times what I've heard, especially seen from writing a dissertation, a lot of times your chapter 1 is going to be your last chapter is going to be done, because really you're putting together everything that you did in your entire dissertation. That's going to be your chapter 1. A lot of people get frustrated and think, wow, I can't get my chapter 1 done. Well, because that's usually a collaboration of everything that you did in your whole dissertation. So you can't get really too frustrated at that. You got to realize that it's going to come together once you get the rest of your dissertation together. Your longest chapter is definitely going to be, truly is going to be your literature review, because this is showing exactly what you have done research-wise and seeing what everybody else has done so you can add your piece to literature. That's very, very important. And a lot of people get frustrated on this because they a lot of times don't have enough literature to be able to say, but this is the part I want to do literature-wise. So that's very, very important. All right. And so you can also see parts of my theoretical framework that was there. Look at Cross's theory, and not only Cross's theory, how does it connect with what I'm looking to do and how it's connected with that in different aspects. That's very important as well. And it can get broken down a little bit better, but you basically have to be able to show this is what's out here literature-wise. This is a theory I'm using. Then you go into your chapter 3. Now I'm looking at how I want to be able to do my research. My research design, your method. You want to look at your methodology, how you're going to do this, your setting, your data analysis, all these different types of things. All this has to be defended in your dissertation proposal before you can do anybody's true dissertation. A lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that you have to have all this broken down so much. So when your committee looks at your work, they can say, okay, I can see exactly what they want to do. I can see what direction they want to go in. Okay. That's very, very important. All right. And then you go into, after you get your IRB done, Institutional Review Board, you cannot do research at these high-end institutions without going through the Institutional Review Board, your IRB. You have to be able to go through human subjects and get that authorization to be able to interview individuals. And if you're interviewing kids, it's even harder. It is very, very tough. That language has to be precise, because if you start interviewing individuals and it's not cleared by that university, people can get in a lot of trouble, So you have to be very, very careful with that. All right. And so for mine in particular, it was interviewing these 7 students, and I had 7 at first. 2 I was not able to track down, so I ended up doing 5. And so their life before they were students and before they got into that IBYT focus course, their life outs or why they were in the course and how they portrayed the course, and then their life outside the course. So it was this phenomenological study that looked at how their lives was changed, which I connected to the theory, Black identity development, of how they went from they didn't really understand who they were as Black males to coming into a class where they started to know who they were as Black males to now their life after the class. Now they're able to go back to other Black males and say, hey, I learned about myself. I want to tell you more about how life should be and how life is and how you can make it and how you can go to college. And so it was just this pendulum, or what they said, an awakening or a jarring experience that happened. That's how my dissertation came about. That's how you go into also your chapter 5. You got to be able to break that down. You got to be able to take your research questions that you have and show this is how this theory, how I did these interviews, brought them all together, and this is what I came up with. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. It's not, because it took me forever to be able to shape that. But that is a bottom line basis of that's how you fill the gap. Now, there's all kind of research on community college students and all these different types of things. But it was mine in particular where I said, I want to see how their lives are while they were in this particular course, how their lives are now afterwards, and what it was like before. That was a lot of my dissertation work. And I know you can do it. You can definitely do it. All right. What else can I jump on? Like I said, if anybody has any questions, I see Mr. Javier there. I appreciate your question there. Let me go ahead and put that up. Let me go ahead and look at it. All right. So how do you find groups or orgs who are interested in your particular research? I feel like many grants funds are seeking certain research topics that aren't related to my interested area of study. It's a good question. It's going to be harder to go backwards looking for somebody who's interested in your research than it is going forward, okay? Because I have a great mentee. She's at Indiana University. Shout out to Dejanay. She's doing great work in the Student Affairs Higher Ed program, or Higher Ed Student Ed program at Indiana University. And something that has come to her has been an opportunity to work for an organization that's doing work that she's interested in enough to where they're going to pay for her to do her dissertation, finish out her program, and the work that she's going to do for her dissertation is work directly connected with the organization. It's a win-win. Sometimes it's easier to find that way. Then you could take what you have interest and put that together with something you might want to do after you get done. But I'm telling you right now, it's about getting done. If you have somebody that says, I want you to come and help us work on this type of work, and you have an interest in it, I would say take that, especially if they're going to help pay for you to get done with your doctorate. That's a huge thing, huge, huge thing. So keep that in mind, because there's a lot of people that do go in and they just have this mindset that, look, I just want to just do the biggest, greatest thing ever. I get it. I get it. But then you have to realize, is it something that I need to do to get done? Or is it something I just really want to do so bad that I'm now frustrated because nobody wants to work with me? You want to be able to go into a group. We have the Great Lakes Equity Center that is on the campus of IUPUI, Indiana University. They're always hiring. And when they hire, they not only allow you to do great work within their center, but they pay for you to get your degree. And a lot of my classmates, a lot of my cohort members were a part of that organization. They do great work. They do great work around the nation, equity work when it comes to education. So, you know, those are opportunities that when that door opens, sometimes you got to walk through it. There were individuals that were getting other types of funding before maybe the center put out an assistantship, and they left whatever funding they had to go to the assistantship because it's so good. It is so good. Okay. So that was a very good question. Definitely a very good question. My brother, the future Dr. Ross, working and doing great work over there at Ivy Tech Community College. That's a great question. Do you believe it is important to present at conferences and publish before earning the doctorate degree? Some of my colleagues are published and they present regularly. This is huge, very, very huge. So when you do go to these conferences, it looks great when you go, but looks even better when you present. So yes, you want to present and you want to publish. It's not easily getting published sometimes, and it takes a long time to get published in some of these peer-reviewed journals. But I'm about to give you a trick. If you could do an opinion piece, even if you do a research piece and look at diverse issues of higher education, you have other ones who will allow you, like Chronicles Higher Education, they'll allow you to put in some of your work and they'll put it through real quick. That's a publishing opportunity. Another one right here, just open a Medium account. If you have some great thought that you want to put out there, open you a Medium account, put it on Medium, boom, that's a publication. You got your publication. Now, presenting wise, I could put this on my CV right now. I'm presenting. This is a presentation. These are the things you want to be able to go ahead and finagle a little bit, so to speak, but it's going to make your CV look really, really good. You might just go to a classroom and just present. You might do something online. Don't forget about the online conferences, putting those on your CV as you're going. You did that. You were there. That still counts. So anytime you're using your voice, anytime you're using your God-given gifts to present or to be at these conferences, put them on your CV. There are doctors that have CVs 23 pages long. If you look at them, you be like, man, you just went to a classroom and talked and put that on there? Yeah, because I presented. Anything and any of those opportunities are huge. So you want to be able to do that. So that's good. So I appreciate Miss Alicia Warren Jackson. I appreciate you. Jackson Warren, I appreciate you. She's looking and she's saying, choose your committee carefully. That is a huge, huge tip, because not everybody's going to want to work with you and you're not going to want to work with them. It's a huge, huge thing that I think people are missing, because they're excited when you get your letter. You're going to be excited when you get into those doctorate programs. You're going to post it everywhere. You're going to tell everybody. But here's the frustrating thing. There are a lot of people that get those letters that never get done. And that's the frustrating thing. Okay, so a big part of when you get in a doctorate program, just as Alicia said, choose your committee carefully. These are the people who are going to sign off on your work. And trust to believe, they've done this for years, and they're just not going to sign off on any kind of work because that's their name on your work. These individuals have doctorate degrees themselves. Majority of them, I've seen some where some master's people have been able, just the fact because they're able to move on, but majority of them are doctors themselves, and doctors want to make other great doctors. Okay, so you want to make sure whatever work that you're doing it under individuals that care about you, really care about what you're doing and helping you get done. All right, so a couple things before I kind of wrap up here. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate this. This is nobody but God has given me this opportunity. I appreciate the people that was looking at my post and people that came back and said, yeah, we need you to talk about this, bro. I want to do this. It's in my heart to do this. I see other people doing this. I feel like I can do it. You can do this. You can do this. It's not going to take you as long as you think. I can't believe the 5.5 years it took me. It went by like that. If you're about your business, doing what you're supposed to do, it's going to go by quick. But if you go in with the wrong mindset, it can seem like an eternity. And we don't want that to happen for you. All right. So a couple things, couple tips I want to make sure I put out there. You need to make sure you take care of yourself. I can't say that one enough, because there are individuals who, if you ask them how their doctorate program was, they can't tell you. They wouldn't be able to tell you, because anytime they sit at a computer, they go like this. It's stressful. It was a traumatic experience. That's why you don't have a lot of people that go and pull other doctors up. They don't do it because it stressed them out so bad. So you got to take care of yourself. If you're going to look to do this, you got to make sure you have people behind you that's going to support you, that know exactly what you're doing and care about what you're doing. Because I'm telling you, and I used to tell this to a lot of people, not everybody can go to glory with you. A lot of the individuals I started out this journey with are not with me right now. Not mostly because of jealousy or anything. It's just when you're going to where God wants you to be, sometimes not everybody is going to be able to go there with you. All right. Now, some other things I want to make sure you keep in mind. Okay. You are as alone as you need to be and want to be. Some of us need those people. We need those supports. We need those individuals that are going to help push us. Some of them's like me. Like I necessarily didn't need it. I was like, when I need you, I'll come to you. But you have to realize that if you need some alone time, take your alone time. One of the greatest things I heard, and I really took this into practice, I didn't do any work on Sundays. I shut down. That was my relax day, church day, nap day, sports day, whatever you want to call it. I did not touch any work on Sundays. Now, not everybody can do that, but it's something to keep in mind. All right. Appreciate you, Benjamin. This is a great comment here. There is definitely no shame of having a therapist. Not at all. If you got to talk to somebody, please make sure you talk to somebody because it is a hard process, a very tough process. And sometimes you need somebody to get you through. We got people that realized they had mental health things going through the program. And so you have to be able, like I said before, take care of yourself while you're in these programs. That's very, very big. Your work won't be perfect. It's not going to be perfect work. Not at all. You have to realize there's a lot of people whose dissertation they're looking at right now. It's like, that wasn't very good. It wasn't very good at all. But you are becoming who you would like to become through the doctorate program. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So just realize that you're going to not do the best work, but it's going to help you become a better speaker. It's going to help you become a better presenter. So when you become doctor, you're shaped, you're good, but you're going to continue to shape yourself as you go. Kind of going back to, what works for you, getting that rest, find what relaxes you. I love going for walks. That was my thing, going for walks. You got people that indulge in some different things. We're going to keep this PG because I'm sure this is a family broadcast. But you have to make sure you find what works for you, what relaxes you to help you get through the program. I knew a lot of people that travel. So during their times off between courses, they traveled, they went different places. And that's good. That's good that you do that. Kind of just what we want to make sure individuals do at the end of all of this. At the end of all of this, when you become a doctor, you want to know you're great at something that not a lot of people are, or maybe nobody else is. What's your niche? What is the point of getting that doctorate degree? Because now you want to be able to be in the spaces where you're the speaker. You're the presenter. People are coming to see you. And so that also goes back to, you don't have to necessarily just go and be a professor when you get your doctorate degree. We need people to go out into the world and be those community activists. We need those individuals to be public speakers. That's why a lot of my niche is I work with Black males, post-secondary education. Plus, I was able to start my own business, which is the Professor JT LLC. Starting that, not only can I help other doctorate students, but I also do public speaking. I also trademark celeb scholar. And so I do research on celebrities and individuals who are doctors who are now using their doctorate degrees in other fashions that not just are academia. So think of individuals that have law degrees. So you look at Judge Mathis, or you look at Mark Lamont Hill, and you see these individuals on red carpets. You see these individuals on TV. And so I look at these individuals and I say, how are they using their doctorate degrees in a different type of influence than individuals who might just be in our classrooms? Because there are different things you could do with your doctorate degrees. We want to make sure that you know that you can do different things with your doctorate degrees. That's why we want you to be able to get it. But you always can go back to the classroom, and we're needed in the classroom. We are needed as faculty members with doctorate degrees, especially people of color, back in the classroom. Because that is one thing that is very frustrating is the fact when you want to go get your doctorate degree, you don't see anybody that looks like you. That is hard because they want you in the program, but who am I going to work with? Especially if I want to do research that deals with individuals of color. That's why it's very, very important the type of program that you look into. You got to know who you're working with. You got to know what you want to do when you get in there. And so then when you get done, you know exactly what you put your work into, that now you are in the top echelon of individuals that do that work. That's getting a doctorate degree, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we want you to do. Now, you can always contact me, the Professor JT, at theprofessorjt@gmail.com. I'm still here for about another few minutes if anybody has any questions. I'm just so thankful to be able to do this. Now, my next thing I want to be able to do, I'm thinking about bringing on other individuals who have doctors on this platform so they can be able to share their stories too. Because unfortunately, the frustrating thing is not a lot of individuals are coming back and telling you all how to become doctors. It's very important because these individuals want us in their programs, but what do we do when we get out the program? How do we do anything in these programs without anybody who's been there helping us get through? It's very, very important. Another great comment from Alicia. There are so many doctors that one could get. Are there any that are considered lesser or greater? I've heard the contentious conversation about EDD versus PhD, for example. Why you had to do this to me right now? Why you got to do this? This is such a big thing. It's such a, okay. So old school thinking is that EDD is a lesser than PhD. But we are in 2023. So we have to realize that some individuals might just be able to get an EDD because they are working in a certain field, like higher education. And in their particular career process, you're all good. In their particular career process, that is all they need is an EDD because they're primarily going to stick with education. That's where they're going to stick with. So that's why that EDD works for them. Now, PhD is a lot more fluid to me. I'm speaking for myself. To me, it's more fluid where you can do a lot of other different things. And so that's why you really want to make sure that whichever degree I get, I know what direction I want to go in. And I know, yeah, you're going to get slack from whichever, because no matter if you got a PhD, it can be from a high research institution. Somebody from a very high research institution might say, well, I got my PhD from here. Look, it's all going to be all kinds of, do what's best for you. That is the key thing I will say. Get the degree that's best for you. Even when I was looking at degrees and first started off, I was thinking about getting a JD PhD. But then I realized I didn't like policy. And the policy has a lot to do with the law. I said, that's not my direction. I don't want to go that direction. Okay. So whichever direction works best for you in your career, I ain't gonna lie, who's gonna pay for it and make sure you get out as stress-free as possible, that's the one you need to do. That's gonna be best for you. All right. A great comment from Benjamin here. Pick my program because I want to make a difference in my career field as a scholarly practitioner, a doctor of public administration. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate that, doctor. And I'm telling you, do the one that's best for you for your career field. And there's so many different ones. And I got a comment from the post that I made. Somebody said that he was an individual going for, I believe, a PharmD. Are there levels to these different degrees, PhD, EDD? Well, of course, there's levels to it. But you're doing what's in your heart, what you're passionate about, get your doctorate degree in. And that's what's important. That's very, very important. Okay. And so Benjamin said it right here, and it's the biggest thing, and that's what I kind of wrap up with. It's about making a difference. You know you want to make a difference. You know you want to go out here and you want to leave your mark on the world, and you know deep down in your heart, man, I can be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. I want to do this. So don't be afraid to ask somebody who's going to help you, who's going to help you. Can I get a doctorate degree? I appreciate you, Gregory. Appreciate you chiming in. Do I do one-on-one coaching? Of course, man. I'm a businessman. I'm just saying. I do that one-on-one coaching. If we go deeper where I'm looking at certain type of programs, or if we're looking at writing your papers as far as your letters or anything, looking at, it's going to be a cost because I'm a businessman. I'm a business. But yes, I do like doing my particular consultations. I do 30-minute to hour consultations. Let me go ahead and see if I can leave my email up right here for you all. But I just want you all to know, you go lay down tonight, you're like, man, that slim guy that was on that talk, he was talking about something kind of good. I think I want to look at this. If you want to look at this, I want you to definitely go ahead and contact me. I want you to go ahead and reach out because we need to get you to that level. It's not on your mind anywhere that you can't do this for no reason. It's on there for some reason. And there's other doctors that can tell you this. They want to come back and tell you this. They want to tell you, yeah, it was frustrating. Yeah, I was stressed out. Yeah, people left me. Yeah, money got funny. Yeah, I wanted to throw my computer out the window. But when they got done, I'm telling you, it's like the greatest thing in the world. I'm telling you, you want to get here, you want to put that robe on, you want to put that tam on, you want to go across that stage and get hooded. If you see that in your mind, you can do it. I promise you, you can do this. It's something you want to make sure going in. This is where God wants me to be. I know I can do this work. And with the right support, it's going to be your time. It's going to be your time to do it. Don't rush it. No, don't rush it. Because if you go in at the wrong time, that could hurt you. So we want to make sure that you get the information you need, the work that you need to get done. And I finish out with my guy, Dr. Trent Watson. Best dissertation is a complete one. Spoken like a true doctor. I just want to say God bless y'all. This has been fun. I have to do this again. I appreciate y'all working with me. Whew. Man, hour goes by fast when you're having fun. I want your doctorate degree to go by fast too, because when you're having fun and when you do it, it's going to come together and it's going to work out great. God bless y'all. Stay focused. I'm here for y'all. Like I said, I'll put my email up there one more time. If y'all have any questions, you can always hit me up on LinkedIn as well, Dr. John C. Turner. That's where I'm at. But I want you to go be doctors. I want you to go and do like I did. Write on a piece of paper tonight your name. Put doctor in front of it. Put in Jesus' name. That's what I did back in 2014. That's what I did. And now I can say I'm a doctor. God bless y'all. Y'all make sure y'all go be the best doctors y'all can be. Already know in your mind, you are a doctor. God bless you.